There we go. We are doing chapter 12 of the Didache today, which goes as follows, and it's the same as last week. Let anyone who comes in the name of the Lord be received, but then after you have scrutinized him, you will know if he is true, because you will be able to discern between right and wrong. So remember the last chapter we spoke about prophets and teachers and apostles coming into your communities. Now it says that anyone who comes in the name of the Lord be received, but then after you have scrutinized him, you will know if he is true, because you will be able to discern between right and wrong. If the one who comes is a traveler, help him as much as you can, but he may not stay with you more than 2, or if necessary, 3 days. But if he wants to live among you and is a craftsman, let him work and eat. If he does not have a skill, according to your discernment, take into consideration how he will avoid living idly among you as a follower of the Messiah. But if he is not willing to do so, then he is a Messiah peddler. Guard yourself from people like these. Okay, so chapter 12 continues with instructions on hospitality for travelers. Unlike chapter 11, however, these travelers discussed in this chapter are not teachers or emissaries or prophets. Rather, they are ordinary disciples like you and me. Plain oaks like me and you.
Hospitality thing.
Again, the hospitality. Well, we're children of Abraham. It's supposed to be one of the most important things for us.
No, it's just...
This opportunity cost.
Yeah.
No, it's just that something that really impressed my heart before we even touched on that.
Fantastic. Right. Hospitality doesn't mean ending up in a hospital. Just get that.
Yeah.
Don't put hospital in hospitality. Be hospitable.
And the hospital.
Yeah. And also don't spit in their soup. That's not hospitable. So be careful. Right. While Yeshua commands his disciples to be hospitable and charitable towards fellow disciples, this was to be done with discernment. So, as with all instructions in the Didache, the basis for its hospitality, teachings are found within Jewish tradition. Abraham and Sarah, of course. Abraham is considered the father of hospitality because of the kindness that he showed to the 3 mysterious guests in Genesis 18. Anyone know who those 3 mysterious guests were?
No, but I know Sarah was a nurse. Hospitality industry.
What's that famous nurse that was the Catholic? What's her name again? That's Mother Teresa, not? Mother Teresa, yeah. No, that's not Sarah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about her. Right. The Master mentions 3 aspects of hospitality in Matthew 25. Feeding the hungry, giving drink to the thirsty, which is, by the way, was what Isaiah spoke about in the Haftarah today, and inviting in strangers. Keep in mind the context of when this was written. This wasn't written in Mzansi, modern day. Today, if there's a stranger, you don't invite them in. Right? Because they'll invite everything in your house out.
Yeah.
But you gotta read the stuff with discernment as well. But many people get stuck up with this kind of stuff.
There were 3 angels, right?
Yeah, there was the 3 angels.
One was the Lord.
One was the Lord, the angel of the Lord, yeah. One of them was Raphael, who came to heal Abraham. Because he came to heal Abraham, because he got circumcised the day before. Remember, he got circumcised, then it says he ran to the... How do you run the day after you got circumcised?
At that age.
At that age. He waddled towards them, if you ask me. But anyway, so Raphael came to heal him, and the other one was, what's the scary one that looks like a biker? Gabriel. I always imagine him like this bold biker with tattoos. The angel Gabriel. He came to deliver the message for Sodom to be destroyed. And the other one was the angel of the Lord.
Strange, I heard somebody, I don't know if it was a rabbi or somebody was saying that, no, it couldn't have been a rabbi, it must have been one of the Messianic guys that said the one angel was actually Jesus.
I've heard that as well, yeah.
So, who was it who, what is it, in
Was it
Sodom?
Naboth that died?
No,
Solomon, what?
In Sodom, blinded the people outside and closed the door.
Yeah, those 2 angels. I wonder if they would...
Angels.
I wonder. I don't think so. Because remember, Jewish tradition says that an angel only gets one job at a time. So that tells you that women are not angels. All angels are men because they can't multitask. So then Gabriel would have been finished with that mission. He would have had to go back and the new angel would have been sent into that house, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not allowed to study angels, so...
Maybe it was Uriel.
But remember, those angels, they came, there were the 3 of them,
Yeah,
and then 2 of them proceeded on towards Sodom.
yeah.
So that means that...
Angel of the Lord and Gabriel then.
Yeah.
No, the angel of the Lord remained behind talking to
Yeah, so
Abraham.
it's
But Raphael...
So the other 2...
Raphael went just with. He didn't
He couldn't have a job description because he already fulfilled his job. If we're following that tradition that Judaism says, you can only do one job at a time as an angel.
Oh, so you mean you were just hanging around?
Maybe, yeah. He was,
Just observing.
yeah.
You were just observing.
The Perkei vote says someone who travels alone endangers his own life. So
So the two went together.
it's too weird. I don't know. Maybe like that. Yeah.
Maybe it was Uriel.
Could be.
Uriel?
Yeah. Uriel.
Okay.
All right. So
What were those 3 things again from the hospitality? So you repeating them?
what Yeshua said: feeding the hungry, giving drink to the thirsty, and inviting in strangers. While the commandment to be hospitable certainly applies to friends and relatives, the true heart of hospitality is found in extending kindness to strangers. Several times throughout the Torah, God reminded the Israelites of their former slavery. He did this so that the Jewish people, after entering into their own land, would in turn treat strangers with care and compassion. What's the word for stranger in Hebrew? Ger.
Oh, again, yes.
The Gers, the stranger, because you were once strangers in the land of Egypt. The scriptures have harsh criticism for those who do not show hospitality. The rabbis taught that the worst sin of Sodom and Gomorrah was not their abhorrent sexual practices, but rather their lack of hospitality. It's what Ezekiel says in chapter 16:49. Behold, this was the guilt of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters had pride, excess of food, and prosperous ease, but did not aid the poor and needy. That was the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah. So when you say someone's doing sodomy, what they're supposed to be doing for sodomy is not looking after the poor. Although the Didache imposes some restrictions and cautions, every stranger who came in the name of the Master, whether he was a teacher, prophet, disciple, was to be welcomed and received with joy. Now, what about these idle Messiah peddlers that we spoke about? As was the case in chapter 11, it also invites abuse when you show hospitality to anyone. The Didache warns us, saying, if he is not willing to work, he is a Messiah peddler. Guard yourselves from people like this. Now, the commentator Thomas O'Loughlin laments, everyone who has been involved in running a charity knows this dilemma in one way or another. Welcome and support is something that Christians should give, but at the same time, no one should be allowed to abuse the generosity and sponge rather than work. Such people are not brothers who should be welcomed in Christ as coming in the Lord's name, but people who are using the name of Christian for their own ends. This was especially true for the budding communities of our new believers, who could easily be swayed and abused due to their innocent and childlike trust. To have lazy members mooch off of the hard work of others could ruin the delicate balance of the community and quickly deplete the community's resources. Everyone needed to pull his or her own weight. So what's a practical application for us? The Didache's instructions on hospitality are pertinent for believers today. Open and generous hospitality should be the norm for Messianic communities. And it's also true today that everyone in the community needs to do their share. While most people will not admit outright that they don't want to work to provide for themselves and their families, many do use excuses and sometimes even spiritual pretenses as to why they are unable to find or hold a job. In such cases, the community should be on guard not to overburden its members by continually providing for the needs of a few individuals who are fully capable of doing so themselves. The instructions of the Didache provide a solid foundation on this matter to help us use discernment and common sense in our acts of charity and hospitality. We're entering the month of Elul now, where we're supposed to increase our charity. So it's perfect timing for us to study this. Okay, let's get into the commentary. So, let anyone who comes in the name of the Lord be received, but then after you have scrutinized him, you will know if he is true, because you'll be able to discern between right and wrong. In some ways, the rules about extending hospitality towards the average visitor are actually more magnanimous than those regarding the visiting teacher. Once a visitor had been shown hospitality, he was then to be scrutinized. You're supposed to judge, right? It is of note that this testing was not the job of the community officials, but it was to be done by those that are showing the hospitality to the person. That's strange, hey? Usually you would think it's run to the officials and to the leaders, let them make a decision for us. Yeah. If you're the one hosting the person, you've got a much better job or opportunity to see if they are a Messiah peddler or not. It was they who would have the closest contact with the stranger to be in the best position to pass the judgment. The discernment process, as with the assessment of the teacher, prophet, and the emissary, involved examining the person's actions. Thus you will recognize them by their fruits.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned about that idea where Yeshua says you should judge someone by their fruits. Because technically speaking, fruits in Hebrew means your offspring, your children. So if you've got naughty children, now I'm scared.
There's a lot of people that have.
So I'm of the opinion of the, what's the word? I'm of the side that argues that it's nothing to do with your children. Right? Your fruits is your actions and you know what you
It's
bear.
your deeds.
It's not your actual children,
Yeah.
because Abraham still had Ishmael.
Jy sien, dit kom in die konteks van daardie tyd.
You guys on your way out?
Van
Can someone open there for me? Yellow one.
van blessing en vrugbaarheid het saam gedoen.
Yes. Ja. Fruitfulness.
Hulle
Ja.
verwysingsraamwerk.
Ja.
So as jy nie kinders gehad het nie, was jy nie geseënd nie.
Ja. Back in ja.
Daarom word jy geseënd, die nog steeds die gesegde van as jy kinders het om te sê jy's geseënd.
Ja. I understand that. Ja.
En dis die konteks waarna dit gebruik is. So hulle kon net visueel dit waarneem om te sê hoeveel kinders het jy. O, dis hoe geseënd jy is.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. Well spotted.
So you are very blessed.
So far,
You
I'm doubly blessed because I got 2 kids.
So I think
have 2 awesome kids.
Yes.
the Greek of fruit was probably not taken from the Hebrew of fruit.
Hopefully.
Because you know, I have appointed you to bear much fruit.
Doesn't mean polygamy.
Ja.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, John. You've set my mind and heart at ease and pockets.
So plus there is also a saying in this African community that children are the mirror of their parents.
Yeah.
You see,
They are
that's
The mirror.
of their parents.
Mirror.
So parents will be judged according to the actions of their children.
I don't disagree with that. You know, I've noticed things about my parents that pop up in my personality. It's like I see something that my dad always does this, and I realize, you know, I'm doing the same thing. Where does this come from? Why am I doing the same? It's the weirdest thing. We inherit this personality traits as well from our parents. It's strange. So yeah, make sure you work on it so that your kids don't get the wrong stuff. Sometimes you just, you know, you inherit the ugly nose. Nothing you can do about it. The Didache indicates that the Spirit of God will grant discernment in hospitality. That helps a lot, the Holy Spirit. It says here in 2 Timothy 2 verse 7, the Lord will give you understanding in everything. So we have to pray about it, whether someone is legit or not. All right, verse 2. If the one who comes is a traveler, help him as much as you can, but he may not stay with you more than 2, or if necessary, 3 days. Unlike the itinerant teacher, emissary, and prophet, who were permitted to stay a maximum of 2 days, a regular traveler can stay for 3 days if it is necessary. He's not claiming a position of power or anything. He's literally telling you, hey, I need a place to stay.
Certainly, this only applies to those who come in the name of the Lord
Yes.
as preachers or teachers or so on like that.
Them 2 days.
2 days, yes.
Yeah.
So if you've got random relatives who pitch up or friends from college who decide to come and visit you for 3 weeks, that's fine.
Yeah, there's no mitzvah that you have to kick them out, but you're welcome to quote it for them when you kick them out. So this is my custom.
After 3 days, you can tell them, according to this, I think you have to leave now.
Did you hear last week? I don't know if they said it in Afrikaans. Oh, you went here last week.
No.
Sandy quoted that famous saying that, I think it's an Afrikaans saying, on the 3rd day, guests and fish start smelling bad. So,
After 3 days.
yeah, that's what I get. So then, there's your side to get rid of them. Okay, the Didache here instructs with a normal traveler, help him as much as you can, implying that more than simply food and shelter should be provided, perhaps even new clothing and other provisions as needed.
There's what do guests and fish have in common? They both smell the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that.
The book of Hebrews tells us that sometimes we do not realize the identity of our guests, like Abraham. Right? It says, do not neglect to show hospitality to strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unknowingly, like old Abraham. Yeshua teaches us
Have angels sometimes.
all the time. We just don't recognize it. And demons. That's what the Talmud says. If you were able to see demons, you would go insane. Because the demons are so full up that that's the reason why your clothes wear out. Because they're rubbing against your clothes because there's so many of them around us.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But then
Casper.
these
there you
angels
go.
are they just normal people, or if we had to go like
no idea.
do a history check on them and find like whether if there's nothing on them.
Maybe. Abraham didn't recognize them. He thought they were people and they were angels. So we have no idea. For all we know, John is an angel.
Forms and sizes.
The angels lyk soos mense.
Yeah. And some look like animals. Remember, there's different types of angels, eh? There's the cherubim, what's all the names? There's cherubs, there's seraphim, there's ophanim, all of the ims. Chayot is Chaya means like a wild animal. So the chayot are like the animal angel kind of things. I don't know if you've ever seen animals rescue human beings and save their lives. I'm convinced those are angels. I'm convinced
Well,
about
it's
it.
actually strange because I actually saw earlier this week somebody posted something on Facebook about you get angels and human beings and that help you. You've got some angels that have paws.
Pause. Yeah, listen to this. I remember once someone was telling me, so the whole concept of demons and stuff, look, Solomon was the one who was known for knowing how to take care of demons. He's the one that wrote the handbook on how to deal with demons. And one of the stuff that it says, and it's probably in the Talmud, I guess, that one person can do if you're being attacked by demons at night in your dreams and stuff, is you take ashes from your fireplace and you scatter it around your bed at night. And in the morning when you wake up, you'll see the little paws of the demons. They were little like bird feet in the ashes. And that's how you know there were demons there at night. So, here you go. I don't like cleaning up the floor with ashes, so I'm not going to try that out. Plus, I don't want to know what bothers me at night. I'd rather just sleep right through it. But anyway, so yeah. So birds, remember we spoke about that in one of the earlier chapters. That was one of the main things that with magic and demons that people practiced in that day was birds. They believed that demons traveled in birds. So there was a lot of weird stuff about birds. If I listen to a crow, I think to myself, oh, that's legit. Definitely. Okay.
That's an unclean animal.
Yeah, exactly. But just
smart though.
yeah, very smart, eh? But equally, animals can be angels. So Sheva's online, yeah, I see. She's got the horses and many animals there on her plot. And I believe she believes each one of them is an angel. Okay. My children, I sometimes call them animals. Sometimes I call them angels. So, I'm just testing the waters.
Yeah.
It depends.
It depends on the day.
On the moment, not
Your
even
mood
the
and their
day.
mood.
Yeah.
But I had a Germany one time said, his children are angels. But he has to jack their wings up every now and then.
Check their wings up, yeah. Yeah. Mind you, Satan was an angel, wasn't he? So there you go. All right. Yeshua teaches us, I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. Truly I say to you, as you did it for one of the least of these my brothers, you did it to me. Yeshua assures us that we will be repaid at the resurrection of the just for our hospitality and kindness towards the poor and strangers. So there is great reward for it. All right. Verse 3 says, if he wants to live among you and is a craftsman, let him work and eat. So the second case concerns a traveler who wishes to become a permanent resident within the community and has a trade. The gracious hospitality of chapter 12 verse 2 would end after 3 days and he would then be responsible for his own livelihood. Let him work and eat, it says. It finds its antithesis in Apostle Paul's command where he says in 2 Thessalonians, if anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. From the very beginning, man was created to do work. Genesis 2:15, the Lord God took man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to keep it. God established the week, there are 6 days of work and 1 day for Sabbath rest. Paul instructs about those who are idle, saying, such persons we command and encourage in the Lord to do their work quietly and to earn their own living. Not working puts a burden on the community to provide unnecessarily for an able-bodied person. Additionally, it leads to trouble. As the old saying tells, the devil finds work for idle hands. Not having work is spiritually dangerous for a person. You get all sorts of attacks and you've got too much time on your hands, so you get too many temptations coming your way.
Sometimes you just go work for free if you can't find
Yeah,
something.
even that's
Do
better.
something.
Yeah, even that's better.
So John,
Go volunteer.
there's people that come and stay there for 3 weeks. After 3 days, you can tell them you have to work now.
Yeah.
Clean the house, cook,
There you go. Clean the garden.
whatever. And if they don't want to, they have to leave.
There you go. Sorted, eh? That's clever.
Yeah.
Paul laments regarding the idle among the Thessalonians. He says, we hear that some among you walk in idleness. You walk in laziness. Not busy at work, but just busy bodies.
Now we know why Jan works so hard.
Yeah. Paul and the Didache teach us that we are commanded to work and to provide for ourselves and for our families. It is a mitzvah. There's a famous quote from 1 Timothy 5 verse 8 that says, anyone who does not work and provide for his family has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So you got to work. It's a mitzvah.
Say that again?
Anyone who does not work and provide for his family has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever.
Unless he has
Is that
any-
from a where's that quoted from?
1 Timothy,
Oh.
Paul read it in 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 8. Now, like John mentioned, of course, with everything in the Bible, you've got to realize there are exceptions. People with mental illnesses, for example, can't work, so this doesn't apply to them, for example. Right? So it's able-bodied individuals.
Yeah, but that's why they
Can work on your nerves.
They work on your nerves. Yeah, it's true.
But that's why they're locked up in rooms with very soft walls.
No. Not those kind of mental. Those are by choice, okay? Someone who's born gebrekkelijk or stuff like that. Yeah. No, it doesn't apply to them. Okay. If he does not have a skill, according to your discernment, take into consideration how he will avoid living idly among you as a follower of the Messiah. So not everyone has a trade, right? Because of this traveler's willingness to work, he should be assisted while he searches for work. He can do many other community tasks. So he can specifically work for the local religious community. You can go work at the shul, clean the shul, or the church, wherever you get people gather. You can work there, you can help out, you can drive around, all that stuff while he's looking for a job. Now, the Didache, which is like a commentary of the Didache, actually it's like an early church document of rules and stuff, and the Talmud exhort parents to teach their children a trade in order that they may avoid idleness. I think the Talmud says there's 3 things that every parent must teach their children. It might be 4. I'm forgetting all of them now, except for 2. One is you have to teach your child how to swim, so they don't drown. The Talmud actually says that already. Even if you're living far away from the sea, you have to teach your child how to swim. And the second one, I think one of them was tzedakah, charity. But anyway, and it also says you have to teach your child a trade, so that one day when they're old enough, they will be able to make a living for themselves. If you haven't taught your child a trade, you failed as a parent, says the Talmud. So it's actually a big thing. So I've been wondering, what am I going to do with my kids? I've got to teach them something. So I don't know, I'm going to go YouTube something and say, I'm going to teach you that. One day you can become, I don't know what.
Carpenter.
There you go, carpenter. All right. Carpenter, they work on cars, right? Carpets. Okay.
A YouTuber.
A YouTuber, there we go. Nowadays you can become an influencer.
Now they work on, they make corporates, man.
People make a living from unboxing stuff on YouTube nowadays.
Yeah.
Unboxing. I used to like watching boxing, now there's unboxing. Right. The Didache seeks to guard the name and character of the term follower of Messiah here. The Greek word Christianos, commonly translated as Christian, is one of the earliest names for followers of the Messiah. It was not a derogatory term. The word Christian implied allegiance to the Messiah and functioned as the Greek equivalent to the English word Messianic. Originally, the name did not indicate the Christian religion. Gentile Christianity had not yet developed outside of the Jewish community or in antithesis to Judaism. It says in 1 Peter chapter 4, if anyone suffers as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God in that name. So, when we do this, we're looking after the name and title of Christians as well. Then we're looking after each other, but we're also, we're not being taken advantage of. Verse 5, but if he is not willing to do so, then he is a Messiah peddler. Guard yourself from people like this. Such travelers were not welcome. The Didache urges the community to be on guard against such individuals, lest they deplete the resources and the morale of the community by spreading their idleness. It's contagious, by the way, laziness. Likewise, the Apostle Paul urges us in 2 Thessalonians 3, we command you, brothers, in the name of the Master Yeshua, that you keep away from any brother who is walking in idleness and not in accord with the tradition that you received from us. Such a lazy person was called a Messiah peddler. Christemporos. The Ethiopic church order has them as a seller of the name of Messiah, which is a term that is possible. It's possible that the author of the Didache actually invented this term. So we can define the word emporos from Christemporos as peddler here. In the broad sense, it's someone who travels, specifically a merchant. It's apparently someone who deals in Christ, like sells Christ, that is, who misuses the Christian faith and the name of Christ for personal enrichment. That you're seeing more and more of today. You have to buy my book, or else.
Sydney, if we are to keep that, then almost every community needs to have like a farm and a construction business, or something that we can say, hey, right? You nothing to do there. Right. If you don't have that, then
it's different. So I think modern era is very different to the Didache's era. Back then it was very agrarian society, agricultural society. Now everything's changed. Now we work separate jobs that are never connected. So we have to adapt, I guess, for the current situation. If we could, it would be nice if we could all employ people in our same stuff. But I think the market's very different today. It's not at all the same.
It seemed to me that those guys then are working for food, right? Because they've got nothing to do. So while they're, it's a charitable act to get someone employed, to give them employment, right? But you need to have the means as a community to.
Yeah, that's the problem. When the community doesn't have a means, then it starts suffering. It's a big problem. So I think every community will have to make up like an individual plan for what to do in a situation like that, because everyone's going to be different. I mean, if you look at let's say a Messianic community in America. Americans have got an abundance of money. For them, it'll be much easier to do something like this. Over here,
no, but they
completely
still
different.
Give them a job.
Yeah.
I could give them money, but you're not supposed to do that.
You're not supposed to give them straight money. Yeah, you're right. Oh, give them money and tell them to go trade it in the market or something. Buy them strawberries and tell them to stand there and sell the strawberries. Or guns. I think guns they sell a lot in America. That's a big thing. Have you seen those shops there in America where in the one aisle you can get your vegetables, your milk and guns in one aisle?
What?
Yeah. What are those shops called? Walmart, yeah. I've been in Walmart before in my life. It's the coolest thing in the world. As soon as you walk into a Walmart, the first thing you see is I call them the Fatmobiles. You can rent these little scooters because if you don't want to walk to the Walmart, they've got like rows of them that you rent. They're all on charge. Put stuff in your trolley and check out the pocket there when you go. If you're too lazy to walk through the shop, you can take these things.
That explains why the Americans are so lazy. They don't even have to walk in their shops anymore.
Yeah. Mind you, we've got something good going in South Africa with our little motorbike online deliveries, hey?
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to my in-laws coming here so I can show them how it works. Because they don't have this in Europe. These little they've got normal, if you buy takeaways, motorbike deliveries, but they don't have groceries that they just come deliver with motorbikes. When Rebecca's grandmother was here, we showed it to them and they were like, "Whoa, South Africa's so advanced." Yeah. We've been having it.
And that's pretty much came with COVID, isn't it?
Yeah, it came with COVID and it worked fantastic.
But interesting enough, I still remember when I was a youngster who was staying in Florida, my mom would actually walk down to the OK, do a whole grocery thing, and then they would come 2 or 3 hours later deliver because my mom didn't have a license, so she couldn't drive back with us. So then the truck would come 2 or 3 hours later and deliver all the groceries she had bought.
Oh, wow.
I can remember that as well.
Times have changed, eh? My dad's grandfather used to go to shul on Saturday with a donkey car. He used to stay there by the Bonnecourt Dam and take the donkey car all the way in. Well, not on Saturdays. He didn't go every Saturday because it was too far. But he went for like the high holidays and stuff. Then he would take the donkey car into town to go to shul in Pretoria. You know, the one in, what was that street? What's that street where the old shul was? They were Boston College is now. They must have the building.
They'd allow him to come to shul in the donkey car?
Yeah. Yeah, Skuman. It was Skuman. I think it was Skuman. Now, can you feed the donkey on the Yom Tov? What about Yom Kippur? Anyway.
That's a problem.
It was a previous time.
The donkey also has to
Fast.
The donkey also has to fast. No,
You
that's
must
not,
probably have to
not
come
the
the day before because it would, on a donkey, take a long time to get to town.
Yeah. It's interesting, eh? Yeah, it's amazing how times have changed, eh?
Donkey poor.
Donkey Pur. Donkey Pur. All right. According to the Didache, idle and lazy members of our communities who rely on the benevolence of believers are not true followers of the Master. They blaspheme the name of God by using faith as a crutch for indolence. And that was chapter 12. So we're going to stop it there quickly, and then we'll do... I don't know. Okay, and then we'll do the next chapter.